Wow, look at all of you. Well, I think I'll start out with a brief statement. Today, for me, is about the process we just saw in the legislature. And I was very impressed by what I saw as I watched it on the internet, at the deliberation and at the questions people had. I really respect the process. And we're frankly not surprised. In fact, last night, I sent a letter to members of the legislature offering to provide information and answers to questions that they had. I think they got it right today where they decided that it wasn't time yet to start any serious discussion about impeachment. They simply need answers. And I've been willing to provide those answers, and I really am looking forward to opening up my office and letting them ask people questions like, was there ever an instance where I have used my responsibilities as the Chief Deputy Attorney General? And I know the answer will be absolutely not. So this will be a great opportunity for us to answer the questions that the legislature may have. And as we move forward with the federal investigation, which we expect would wind up between the next 60 to 90 days, I think other answers will be forthcoming. And I'm looking forward to that opportunity and that process.
Did you listen to the discussion?
Resign as a result of this? The House is going to convene in a special session, create a committee to investigate you?
I think that this is a process that the House has to go through to get the information that they feel their constituents want. And frankly, I want those those questions answered as well. And I see this as a first important step to restoring public trust.
Will you resign?
Pardon me?
Will you resign?
Well, absolutely not. I'm here to do a job I was elected to do, and I'm absolutely certain that the investigation will exonerate me.
Spencer Cox said, when you have a recording of a former Attorney General, perhaps involved in extortion, when it appears the sitting Attorney General might be involved in that extortion scheme, that's serious. Did Mark Shurtleff try to extort money from Mark Sessions Jensen?
Mark Shurtleff had many friends and many meetings that I never knew about. And that is a question for the Attorney General, former Attorney General, certainly not one for me. I am unaware of any attempt by any person to extort money from Mr. Jensen.
If he did, it might have been a crime. Have you asked him? Did you commit a crime? Have you asked him?
I have not had that discussion with Mr. Shurtleff.
Are you going to?
No, in fact, I think that because he is under investigation by the federal government, they will ask you those questions. Another question.
Mark Sessions Jensen had said that you were aware of that, of the possible bribe, that you were there with him that day. What can you say to that?
He's not telling the truth, first of all. Secondly, today I want to talk more about the process of what happened today because I thought it was a great process. And I really believe that the legislature got it right. And I'm looking forward to sharing that information, answering questions, and restoring trust.
In the committee today, there was Representative Sagers accidentally, twice on his computer, started playing out loud the message from you on the phone with a person who might be under investigation, saying that you're not Attorney General yet, but when you are, you want to take over the Commerce Department. Was that an appropriate thing for you to say? They're clearly listening to it and thinking about it.
You know, I think only 4 states in the country have their consumer protection housed outside of the Attorney General's office.
But while you were campaigning, you were talking with somebody who might be under investigation. Is that an appropriate thing to do?
To discuss, to answer questions. I believe that when I had that conversation with that person as a candidate, I believe that I was in a conversation with someone, and I feel like everything I said was appropriate.
Are you able to cooperate fully with the investigation, given that you're still under a potential criminal investigation?
Our plan, Robert, is to cooperate fully with the investigation, any investigation that I'm in.
Okay.
80% in a recent poll say that you should resign. How can you continue to operate in your role if you don't have the public's faith?
You know, the good news for me is I was elected last November to do a job, and I'm not going to be swayed by public opinion polls about the type of job I do or the decisions I make or the issues I'm involved in. So what people think really is important to me, but in terms of how I act in my office and the things that I do, I will let the people judge in 3 or 4 years how I've done it. That's the only poll I really care about.
One of the motions that was voted down in the House caucus today, as you heard, was a motion to delay action until after you say your federal investigation will be over, September or October. That was overwhelmingly voted down. Do you feel that
Well,
that's a
actually, I
message.
thought the vote was quite closer than overwhelming. I thought it was pretty close. No one called for a voice vote, but at the end of the day, I respect the process, and I think the legislature got it right. I'm ready, as I said last night in my letter, to get answers back to the people and answers back to the legislature. So I invite this process, and I think it's great that the legislature got it right and felt like we're not at that point yet where impeachment discussions really need to get serious.
Why are you
But
just giving
the
those
investigation would be the same, wouldn't it? If they were starting impeachment and starting with an investigation, how is this any different?
Well, it's very different. If you listen to the general counsel talk about it, clothed in the impeachment power, there's a whole different process and a whole different ultimate result for challenges than there is in the normal process. They elected to go with the normal process rather than an impeachment process, and I think they got it right.
You see
Why
it
is
in
it
the
you're
process?
just now giving those answers to legislators? I mean, it seems like this has been lingering for 6 months. Some of it, some of it less than that. But
Well,
you're just offering to give them explanations.
Robert, I think the question is truly, what is my role at this point in time as the Attorney General? And I've elected up to this point in time to really focus on the office, make sure we're getting the issues done, the work done for the state of Utah. And so I've had to really decide, am I going to talk to the press a lot about the allegations that are out there brought by people who are under indictment or who are in prison right now? Or am I going to really focus on the office and make sure I do what the people elected me to do? And I've really focused mostly on doing the work of the people. Now, I have offered many times to meet with individual legislators and see even groups of legislators, but I believe they felt that they couldn't really talk much with me without somehow tainting the process if an impeachment investigation was going to start. That's why I welcome this more formal process of being able to answer questions, and more importantly, letting these members of the legislature actually talk to members of my office staff, ask hard questions, and get independent verification of the things that I've said all along, that I've never used my position in any inappropriate way.
Did you ever ask anybody who was on your finance committee for your campaign, why are we getting this much money from this person as you are running for office? From, say, Fan Merrill in San Diego, from all of these get-rich-quick business schemes. Did you ever ask, why are they giving me thousands and thousands of dollars?
Well, as I ran for office, I talked about Utah as being very pro-business. It's a very strong Republican message. I believe people in different industries, for whatever reason they felt like when they were supporting John Swallow for Attorney General, they were supporting someone who's fair-minded, who would listen and understand that part of what makes this state so great is that we are open to businesses, and that when there are issues, I would listen appropriately, make sound decisions. If people were breaking our laws, they'd be prosecuted for it. If people were being misunderstood, we would listen and understand. And I believe that is why those businesses are so interested in donating to a candidate like me.
Have you discussed any potential plea arrangement with the federal government?
Robert, I'm not going to talk about that at this point. But the answer is no.
I may have missed the beginning, but what did you talk to
Let
us
me just get
about?
back to this. What I think
Sorry, that was a funny moment.
today is about for me is truly what I think is good news, and that is an opportunity to get real information to the people who are concerned about their constituents. I compliment the legislature for that, and in a forum that's safe for them, and it's safe for us, it's credible, and we'll get the answers that everyone wants to have.
Last week you called this a witch hunt. Do you still feel that way? Last week you called this a witch hunt. Do you still feel that way?
Well, let me put it this way. I know what I have done and I haven't done. I know that the allegations are coming from very incredible sources, yet it's on the front page every single day. It sounds an awful lot like a witch hunt to me. And when the truth comes out, people are going to know and feel and understand that the person they elected as Attorney General is the right man for the job. Now listen, I think that's about it. I've taken a few minutes. I appreciate your time and questions, and I look forward to further dialogue on these issues. Again, I think it's been an important day for the state of Utah, and I believe the legislature got it right by not starting impeachment investigations.
I missed the beginning. What